listening to the Good Stuff Podcast with your host, C.K. Helms.
Hey out there, everybody. It is me, your host of the Good Stuff Podcast, C.K. Helms. I want to thank you for taking some time out of your day to listen to this, the 10th episode of the Good Stuff Podcast. We have finally did it. We have reached the double digits, and I feel excited. I hope you're excited as well. To my new listeners, because we got some new likes on the Facebook page. So if you're new to the show, I want to thank you for liking the Facebook page and coming to hear me talk about nerd stuff and other entertainment things. We kind of just wing it here at the Good Stuff Podcast, just try to keep you entertained and talk about things going on in the entertainment world. And I stick a lot to the nerd and geek news here, but I will talk about other things. And the cool thing about the Good Stuff Podcast is you can suggest things, and I might add them into the show. And if you don't like stuff, I may take it out. You never know. And so I got tons of segments that we do on here in the Good Stuff Podcast, and I just basically revolve it around and change things up. This episode of the Good Stuff Podcast is brought to you by Blind Bandit Productions. Each and every episode of the Good Stuff Podcast is a Blind Bandit production. So thanks for also liking the Blind Bandit Productions Facebook page if you do that as well. So lots of good things coming from Blind Bandit Productions in the future. So thanks for taking this journey with Zach and I. So yeah, let's get started, guys. Do you like our Facebook page? Facebook.com/The Good Stuff Podcast. You can also find us on major podcast things like Podbean, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher. Those are the 6 different formats where you can listen to music, and you can find our podcast, the Good Stuff Podcast. And don't forget to also follow my friends, the Southern Fried Geekery Podcast. They have a page, Facebook page instead of a Facebook group instead of a Facebook page, and you can go join that group. They got tons of discussion on there all the time, and it's just a fun community to be involved in. I love those 4 guys, and they're the reasons why I got back into doing podcasts. So go follow them on all their page, on their group, join the group, listen to their podcast. It comes out every Sunday, and we share it on the Good Stuff Podcast page on Mondays at noon. And then also my friend Jess Carson, with her roommate, I guess, her friend Nikki G. They do a podcast called Characters on the Couch, and it comes out every Tuesday, which we share on the Good Stuff Podcast page on Wednesdays at noon. And they basically dive into different characters throughout your favorite types of movies, and they do a lot of Game of Thrones. Like one week it's a Game of Thrones episode, and the next week they go into a movie, and it's a character study podcast, and so it's very different than mine. But you should like that page as well, and so you can like their Facebook page by every Wednesday at noon. Come and listen to the episode via my Good Stuff Podcast page, but there'll also be a link that you can click on and go like their page as well. So yeah, good 2 women. I don't really know Nikki, but if she's a friend of Jess, she's a friend of mine. So, and they promote the Good Stuff Podcast page. But yeah, and the Southern Fried Geekery, it's a really comic book strong. Every other week they do a comic book episode, and then 1 week on the off weeks, 1 week is listener questions, which they have on their Facebook group, and then another week is news. But I do the news every week here at the Good Stuff Podcast, and I just talk about things which you can see me sharing news stuff every week or every day, Monday through Friday, sometimes during the weekend if something really big happens. And then I just, here on Thursdays, I just talk about what some of the notable ones to me. Such notable as, did you know, guys, that new Pokemon games are coming? Of course, new Pokemon games come all the time. But Pokemon Sword and Shield just got announced the other day. In fact, what sets this apart from other Pokemon games that this is Pokemon RPG game coming to consoles, coming to Nintendo Switch. We've heard it before, and they're officially announced, and so exciting stuff. I know that I know people that have Nintendo Switch that are really excited about it. I had a new Nintendo Switch, but I got rid of it. I may have to get it back, just another one just for Pokemon Sword and Shield, because I've been playing Pokemon games from Red version, so it was like my first one that I got, Red and Blue, and yeah, and so may have to look into that. It looks awesome. Water Stars for Life represents Sean, and yeah, so that's pretty exciting. But speaking of Pokemon, Detective Pikachu put out a new trailer. If you haven't seen that now, you can go search for that on YouTube. I believe I've also shared it on the Good Stuff podcast page, but go check that out. And also trailers, a new Dark Phoenix, X-Men Dark Phoenix trailer just came out, so that's pretty cool, I guess. It looked a lot like X-Men 3, which was the worst X-Men movie, and I guess this is going to follow a trend in that. Please, just Marvel, just take back the X-Men, which hopefully the deal between Fox and Marvel, I think, is going to be closing March 8th. They just said that they did all the final hurdles, major hurdles, so it looked like March 8th. We'll be having the MCU will now integrate all the Fantastic Four and X-Men into it, so that's exciting stuff for me. Hope it's exciting stuff for you, because oh man, especially Fantastic Four, God, those movies, some of them I just pretend don't exist, and I don't care what you tell me. Some Fantastic Four movie with Michael B. Jordan never existed. You're retarded, and you don't know what you're talking about. But anyways, I digress from that. Speaking of Marvel, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which just won Best Animated Feature, Oscar-winning movie, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. They are going to be doing a alternate universe cut for their DVD release, and it's basically they had so much stuff that they took out of the film that in a alternate universe, if there would have been a much larger version of the movie. They took out a lot of stuff that had to do with other universes, I guess, or something like that, and just more world building. And so they'll be releasing this alternate universe cut on the thing. And, I like to think that somewhere out there's an alternate universe where they got that cut, and then that was their cut, and that was their main cut, and now they're going to get an alternate universe cut, which is a shorter cut, which is the cut that we got. Don't think too much into that, because that'll blow your mind. And I started doing that the other day, and really multiverse stuff started messing with my mind, and who knows? Maybe there's multiverse. I don't know. Maybe you believe it. I don't know. Maybe you don't. It's whatever. Yeah. Anyways, guys, there's a rumor going around about me and you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that Lee Bryce song. But there is a rumor going around, and I don't really much go into rumors here, because one time I posted a rumor, and then I had to retract it whenever it got shot down. So I try not to talk too much about rumors, but there's a rumor that Xbox Games with Gold is coming to Nintendo Switch. That sounds awesome and exciting, and the possibilities of what can come from this are just amazing. And Microsoft and Nintendo, they want to just have a partnership. Basically, they're cross-play, which is a big thing, which Sony's not really cool about. But I believe that now, Fortnite or something has cross-play between all the things. Sony eventually came around and did that. But Microsoft and Nintendo working together is a dangerous combination for Sony to be worried about. And so if the Xbox Games with Gold does come to Nintendo Switch, which Microsoft is basically saying that they could reach more audience of their games by putting games that, Nintendo Switch players would like, and then they would go perhaps sell more Xboxes in the future. So you never know. Exciting stuff. The thought of playing Halo on Nintendo Switch sounds so cool, and if that was a thing that happens, I'm getting a Nintendo Switch again. My wife is just going to have to just deal with it. I'm going to ask for permission, obviously, but on this podcast, I'm going to say she's going to have to deal with it. But in real life, that's probably opposite. But anyways, speaking of Xbox Games with Gold, we just learned the new Games for Gold coming in March. So if you have Xbox with Games with Gold, you can get Adventure Time Pirates of the, I'm going to mess this up, Enchiridion or whatever. And then also Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 will be coming out with Games with Gold in March. And then, they also have backwards compatibility with Xbox 360 games, so you can also get Star Wars Republic Commando, which is probably my second favorite Star Wars game next to Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. You can also get Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. All 4 games are going to be available in the month of March for those that have gold membership, so that's cool. But for me and the Good Stuff podcast crew, me and my producer Zach, we have a PlayStation 4, which you can add us. My handle on PS4 is CK the Red Hood. That's CK, capitalized the Red Hood, and R and H are capitalized. You can add me, or you can add Zach, Z-Bandit. Add us on PS4. We play Call of Duty Black Ops 4. We play Blackout a lot. They got League Play on there now. We're doing that some. And we play other games too. So join us. Even if you don't have the games that we have, you can add us on there and, play games sometimes. Who knows? New games coming out this year. Maybe we can get some games together. But yeah, join our team. And so join the Good Stuff podcast team on there on the PS4. But anyway, PS Plus games coming in March. We're going to have Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, which was included with, what was it? Infinite Warfare? Call of Duty game that came out, the year before last. And that's going to be coming to PS Plus. And so Modern Warfare is probably my favorite Call of Duty game. And I played the remastered version whenever Call of Duty Infinite Warfare came out. Got that just for the Modern Warfare remastered. It's amazing. And the all gillied up level is probably my favorite level in a Call of Duty game. So I had to get it for that. And then also The Witness. It's a puzzle type game. I played through that game myself, and I had really a lot of fun with it. You should pick both those up for free if you have the PS Plus membership in March. But speaking of games that I play, Kingdom Hearts 3, which I just reviewed did a mini review of in episode 9. And the director of that game just said that DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming, some free, some paid DLC. They didn't reveal any details of that. Hopefully we'll be hearing some soon. I've already beat Kingdom Hearts 3 and ready for some DLC. I'm excited to see. Maybe we'll get some Marvel and some Star Wars worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC. I'm pretty excited for the possibility of that. That'd be so cool. That'd be so cool to do a mission with Iron Man, or take down the First Order with Rey fighting Kylo Ren. That would be cool. Kylo Ren's lightsaber versus your Keyblade lightsaber. That would be so cool. Just the possibilities of that. It's just exciting stuff. But yeah. Another video game, Mortal Kombat 11, which comes out April 23rd for all your major systems. We've been talking a lot about that on the Good Stuff podcast anytime characters get revealed. And I can't remember if we mentioned that Jade just got revealed the other day. I know I posted it on the page. I don't know if I talked about it on the show. But Johnny Cage got announced yesterday. So fan favorite Johnny Cage will be coming to Mortal Kombat 11. So go pre-order that now, and you can get Shao Kahn as a downloadable character to play on Mortal Kombat the 11, which comes out April 23rd, not the 22nd, which I have said several times on episodes. It happens. Dates are hard. Numbers are hard, man. I don't do numbers. Not in school or work or anything like that. But a little last bit of news, it seems, to mention for today is Joshua Orpin will be playing Superboy Connor Kent in the season 2 of Titans. That's really exciting. I'm a huge Connor Kent fan myself. And so I'm really excited to see. I don't know who Joshua Orpin is, and I didn't IMDb him because I'm lazy. Actually, I just forgot. It happens. But I don't remember. I don't know who this dude is, but I'm pretty excited for Superboy to be coming in Titan Season 2. I really enjoyed Titan Season 1. Jerry, you don't know what you're talking about. And you should go watch Titan Season 1 on the DC Universe app, which you can get for $7.99 a month. because Doom Patrol's on there, which I talked about the pilot episode, like last episode 9 or episode 8. It's an amazing show, totally worth the money each month. You get comic books, shows, movies, all kind of original programming like Titans, Young Justice Outsiders, which I've done a Young Justice special, and now Doom Patrol. There's going to be a Swamp Thing show, Stargirl show, Titans Season 2 is going to come, and so Harley Quinn animated series. Why are you not on this DC universe? Get on it now. Oh my God. But yeah, so releases. We also talk releases on the show. The theaters, Friday, March 1st. You can see Tyler Perry's A Medea Family Funeral or Greta. One of those two movies come out tomorrow on Friday, March 1st, depending on what day you listen to the show. If you listen to the day that comes out, which is Thursdays, then tomorrow, Friday. If not, whatever. You may be past. It may be like next week before you listen to this episode. But anyway, go see those in theaters. On DVD next week, we got The Favorite, which might have taken home some Oscars. I don't really remember everything, but I know it was nominated for some. And then also Creed 2. You can get those both on March 5th. If you like DVD, Blu-ray releases, there you go. Or it might be all digital, whichever you want to do. But if you like physical copies of stuff, you can pick up both of those. Video games for March 1st, Friday. We got Dark Souls Trilogy coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Dead or Alive 6 coming to PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox. And then Toe Jam and Earl, Back in the Groove. You can get those for PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Nintendo Switch. So pretty much all your major systems and even computer stuff. March 5th, Beat Cop. You get those on Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, PS4. Eternity, The Last Unicorn, PC and PlayStation 4. And then Left Alive on PC and PS4. And that's all your releases for this week coming up until it'll be like next week. But yeah, so we're going to move on to another segment. And this segment is called CB with CK. It's comic books with CK, and on comic books with CK, I do a little rundown of a issue of a comic book that came out last week, and then I do and tell you which was one of my favorites, and which you could probably still find at your local comic book shop, or you can do digital. I do digital stuff, and right now because there's not a comic book store where I live. And then also give you a runner-up. And then I give you something that just come out this week, which just came out yesterday, Wednesday, on New Comic Book Day, which I think you should go pick up, which would be easier probably go pick up because it just came out yesterday. Or you can, as I said, digital through Comixology or wherever you get your digital comic books at. So my comic book, one of the best comic books that I read last week, which is actually getting a lot of hate on from fanboys that are butthurt, and that is Venom number 11. And Venom number 11 is written by the great Donny Cates, and let's see, Joshua Cassara and J.P. Mayer are the inkers, and then Joshua Cassara and Ryan Stegman are the pencilers, and then Frank Martin is the color artist on that. So, and Venom number 11, it starts off, and it's Eddie Brock's brother, and he's in a hospital, and he's going to go check on Eddie, and then Eddie's there, and you basically see that it's the symbiote talking to Eddie, talking about his uncle and stuff, and have cancer. And then in the continuity, Eddie had cancer, and let's see, then you get to see, it's really not in the hospital, and then there's a character named Maker who has Eddie, and so, but then like it goes in and out of a lot of Eddie going through all this stuff in his past, and then also his brother is in the hospital thing, and then it's conversations between him and the symbiote, But basically, what we find out in this thing is that everything that we know about the history of Eddie, like having cancer and his uncle having cancer, and all this stuff, and what it's getting a lot of hate of this because it just changes up stuff. The history of this is that Eddie never had cancer. He never had an uncle. None of this stuff ever happened. Everything that has happened throughout the years in all the different Venom comic books and stuff in the past, it's all been a lie. And it was all the symbiote putting the stuff in his head to make it feel like Eddie needed the symbiote. And so it's really, really exciting. It's a big change and makes me really love it more. The art is just amazing. I really fell in love with this story, though. And it's just exciting what Donny Cates is doing with the character Venom. And I'm really excited. I'm totally on board with this. I've been reading this for a few issues now because I just got back into comics not too long ago. It's really became one of my favorite series so far, and it's just exciting stuff and showing that how the symbiote, which is the symbiote, it's like a virus. A parasite basically. It's been feeding on Eddie and his emotions and making Eddie think that he needs a symbiote, and really he doesn't. And so really the symbiote was just scared because he didn't want to be without Eddie. So he made Eddie think that he had cancer and all this stuff. And it's just crazy. And then, but the real kicker at the end is that the boy, it's not Eddie's brother. And it's actually his son. So that's crazy stuff. I'm ready to see what happens next issue. To learn more. I can't believe this is Eddie's son. That was just crazy. Did not totally see that coming. And so, I mean, it's just so much amazingness in this Venom run from Donny Cates, and I'm on board. I'm loving it. And yeah. But if I had to give you a runner-up from last week, I would definitely say that Naomi #2 was probably another favorite of mine. And I really have enjoyed this Naomi series so far, this mystery of who she is and what's going on and stuff like that. And I really think that if you haven't gotten on the comic book, now's the great time because it's only 2 issues in, so you can easily get that and jump on it and learn more about this mystery. But speaking of mysteries, this week, folks, I'm going to give you a comic book that you should get on now, called Heroes in Crisis #6 from Tom King. And Tom King's amazing. I love his Batman run. And this Heroes in Crisis, we're finding out more about the mystery of Sanctuary and the massacre that happened with all these heroes and Booster Gold and Harley Quinn, what their involvement is, and just more. It's just, I'm really excited. It's a good mystery. I don't know what's going on. And it's just, I don't know who's behind all of it, and I cannot wait to see what happens in issue #6. I haven't read mine yet, so I don't really know what happens. I don't know if this issue will be the one where we find out what happens or not, or if it'll be issue 7. Who knows? It's a great story. Tom King is an amazing person. He's an amazing writer, and so if you haven't got on this series yet, get on it now. I'm pretty certain you could just get it digitally, and then if you're into physical copies, floppies of comic books, you can get the new ones. You can get 6, and then you can get the new 7 when it comes out in a couple weeks. But yeah, exciting stuff, guys. Good stuff. Hashtag it. Good stuff today. But yeah, so the little last segment before we go into my interview, with Sarah Ring. She's a friend of mine. And so before we go into that, and it's a pretty long interview, so I've been trying to just, if you feel like I've been going fast through the motions today, that's because my interview with Sarah is like 50 minutes, so I didn't want to keep you guys long today. But the last segment I got is every Thursday this month, I've been doing Black History Character Spotlight. It's Black History Month, and today's the last day, February. And so we're going to do our final Black History Character Spotlight. And it's a weird one today, guys, because today's Black History Character Spotlight is Agent J, or James Darrell Edwards III, as he's known as. You might know, you're like, Agent J, do you mean from the Men in Black? Yes, Men in Black movies. But he was created by Lau Cunningham, actually, in a comic book series. In 1990, a 3-issue comic book, and then they did a Men in Black, the comic book 2, in 1991. It was 3 issues as well. And this is where Agent J actually came from. So that was his first appearance. And then, of course, we know him from the Men in Black movie, which I think that was, 97 when that movie came out, played by Will Smith. And then Men in Black 2, Men in Black 3, he was also... And then in Men in Black 3, we got to see him, the young version of him, played by Kay Martin. And so he was a former New York police detective. And in the first movie we got to see, he found out that aliens do exist. And he ended up joining this extraterrestrial group, it's like FBI, called the Men in Black. And basically they are to regulate human alien life and keep humans in the dark of knowing aliens exist among them and keeping that secret. It's their job. They're appointed this job to make sure that humans didn't know that aliens exist, and to help aliens, immerse themselves into society, human society, without letting people know that they exist and that aliens exist, because it would just be catastrophic if humans found out that aliens exist in this world. So, but also, the Men in Black also had an animated series. It ran from 1997 to 2001, 4 seasons, 50. I didn't even know that there was an animated series, and I didn't even know that it lasted 4 whole seasons, 53 episodes. Agent J was in that as well. He was voiced by Keith Diamond. And it's an alternate timeline set in between Men in Black 1 and Men in Black 2. But it's alternate because Agent K didn't retire from the Men in Black. And so I'm going to have to look into this. So, because I didn't know that there was an animated series for Men in Black. Like when I was it felt like I should have known, but I guess I didn't. Maybe I knew that it was, and I just assumed that it got canceled after a couple episodes. I didn't know it lasted 53 episodes. It was on for 4 years. It just blew my mind to read that. A little trivia about Agent J. Agent J, in Men in Black 2, you find out that he once owned a Game Boy. That was a little trivia. Every one of these people, I try to find a little trivia bite about them. And so there wasn't much to learn about Agent J. Most of it's from the Men in Black movies. We pretty much know all that. Men in Black is getting rebooted, I guess. Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth are going to be in the new Men in Black movie coming out, which I think is just called Men in Black again. And so, but Agent J, he was our final Black History Character Spotlight. You can go back and listen to previous episodes where I did Misty Knight. Last week I did Lando Calrissian, and then I've also did Black Lightning, and I just skipped over Black Panther because we're going to dive more into Black Panther later on another episode. Speaking of that, in March, the 4 episodes that are in March on Thursdays, we're going to be doing what I call the March CU specials. And basically, we're going to me and Zach, I think Zach's going to be on every episode with me in March. We're going to be diving into the MCU and all the movies that have come in the MCU, because the MCU is huge and has so many movies. We would have to do it in so many parts, and so we figured that it would be a smart idea to just do them all in March, do March CU, because we can talk, because in March, Captain Marvel comes out, and then in April, Avengers Endgame comes out, so these episodes will kind of get in between those two movies, because some will come out before Captain Marvel, some will come out after, so it'll be the last episode in March will be set in between Captain Marvel and Avengers Endgame, so we'll be able to talk about Endgame and stuff that happened from Captain Marvel. So, yeah, the March CU is going to be in the March episodes. So exciting stuff. And I don't know if we'll do anything else on those episodes or not. We may give you some news bits real quick and releases and stuff like that. Maybe throw CB with CK, just the suggestions, but I won't dive into any of the things like that. And so we'll probably set about 15-20 minutes at the beginning of the episodes, and then the rest of the episode will be diving into, we're going to do about 5 or 6 movies every episode. You can join us on these March CU episodes. You can actually be a guest with me and Zach. All you have to do is shoot us a message on the Facebook page or message me or Zach personally. You can also email goodstuffpodcast@yahoo.com if you want to be on a March CU episode, or if you just want to be on an interview episode for later after that, or if you just want to be a guest and talk about stuff, because we're going to do specials, other specials too. I did a Young Justice special, or if you just want to be on there talking about random stuff, that's perfectly fine. Just email or message us. But without further ado, I'm going to bring Sarah on here, and just before the interview starts out, just know that the volume, I record the interviews right now differently. And so the volume, I was standing way too close to the computer at first, but I fixed it. It's just, I'm going to be really loud and just let you know that ahead of time. But yeah, so let's get Sarah on here. All right, guys, I am here with my friend Sarah. What's up, Sarah?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
I'm all right. I guess we're friends.
Yeah, we are.
We're acquaintances.
Yes, friends who don't really see each other very often.
Well, life's busy. I'm busy. You're busy. And so, I mean, I think that's really what happens whenever you become adults. Is that friends? They're just there whenever you're allowed to. You're free moments, because you just get so busy with life. And I'm married and have kids, so I mean, I'd never have time.
Oh yeah, I mean, different acting jobs keep me busy, and just it's hectic. And I think it's great that when you have friends who understand that, and you don't get all in your feelings about like, oh, I never see this person, but life is crazy, so.
Yeah, but you know that you're good friends, because whenever you come around and see each other again, it's just like you never left. You don't skip a beat. Oh yeah,
definitely. Especially when they live far away, like in another state.
Yeah.
You can't hang out with them all the time, obviously. So it's marked true friendship right there.
Right. It's just like, oh, this seems like we just hung out yesterday, because but I mean, that's just how it is as adults. But I mean.
Yes.
It's understandable. It's not like you're having sleepovers and stuff like that.
Oh, no.
Tea parties and stuff. Well, I mean, you have tea parties, but that's different.
I do. Yeah, I do go to tea parties still.
But that's like work.
That's true, but I still enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I get to go to tea parties.
But I guess, let's see. We should really let people know how we know each other.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, people that listen to my podcast know about Gotham Knights, and we've had a few people on here from Gotham Knights, and so now we have another person from Gotham Knights on here.
Yes.
Because that's really how we know each other.
Yeah.
Cause
yeah. Do you mean elaborate on that, or?
Sure. I mean, whatever. I mean, I'm sure I'll come up with some questions or whatever, but I mean,
sure.
Yeah. So Gotham Knights, you play Barbara Gordon.
Right.
And you played her in part 1 and part 2, and then we'll be in parts 3 and parts 4. Well, we've filmed those parts already.
All of my scenes for part 3 and 4 have been shot.
Oh yeah, so you're like wrapped on the whole thing.
I am.
I really didn't even notice that. I was like thinking the other day of who like wrapped, and I was like, oh, like whenever they shot at the manor. And they I was like, oh, they rapped on Penguin and Alfred, and I was like, that's pretty cool stuff. I like when we're rapping characters, and I never thought, oh yeah, Barbara's done.
Yes, I mean, I think I was one of the first people done, which was crazy. But all of my the one location we shot all of the scenes, and that was the only other location I was in. So I mean, it makes sense, but it's kind of sad. It's like I'd like to do more, but. We just did it all in one day and got it out Got it out there.
Well, you have a very singular storyline in the Gotham Knights event, so it makes sense to be in one location.
True. I mean, it definitely makes sense, and I mean, I love the story, like the script, like the way that Timothy wrote Barbara, and it's a very meaty character because you don't get a really good live action of Barbara in any movie beside, and I'm not even going to mention Batman and Robin with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's not Barbara Gordon. That
is not. Yeah, I forget what her last name is. She's Alfred's niece in that, so it's not anything.
Poor. Who is that? Alicia Silverstone?
Yes.
Has she done anything since then?
I don't know.
It's a good question. It's a very good question. I don't think so.
Where'd she go?
Well, she was in Batman and Robin, and then she went and hid.
Yeah, she's like, I was just embarrassed by that, which who wouldn't be? I mean, all the different Mr. Freeze puns, which I kind of loved. It was just a very punny movie.
Now it's just good to make fun of that movie and just all the lines from Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, all right, everyone, chill.
So it's like every ice pun that you could come up with was used in that.
Yep, time to kick some ice.
Yep.
Yeah, it's never ending.
They're like, okay, think of all the ice jokes that we can. All right, and so they just wrote it down on a piece of paper, and like you throw it at the wall and see what sticks. Instead, they're like, let's just put it in the script. I mean, just why throw it at the wall? See what sticks. It's not macaroni. Yeah, and we're gonna play it serious though. We're just gonna have these in there.
Yes. My watch just tried to Google something on. Okay, that was weird.
I was wondering what was talking. I was like, is that me or like?
No, that was my Apple Watch. I don't know if it heard its name. I don't know. That was really weird.
It was wanting to. It was like, oh, ice puns. I got those.
It was trying to search the internet for me. Batman and Robin is on my Apple Watch.
Oh man.
The writers of Batman and Robin are on my Apple Watch.
But let's see. Yeah, so you auditioned for Barbara Gordon.
Right.
And after I saw your audition, I was like, well, there's Barbara. So what's next? I mean, because we had other females audition for Barbara, but whenever we watched you, of course, we had before audition.
I don't think we had. I knew Timothy, and I sent in my video audition, and I think at the library was the first time that I had met you in person.
Oh yeah, okay. Probably.
I think we had messaged just to set up time.
That's right. Yeah, we had messaged and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yes, and I know I had talked to Ryan to set up a time to meet up and go over the script and rehearse it because he was auditioning for Dick, and he wanted to just get the scene down because I know he didn't have as much acting experience as he wanted.
He had no acting experience. No.
Yes.
Not as much as in zero.
Yes, zero acting experience, but he really did an awesome job for having no acting experience.
But oh yeah, at the premiere, I talked really highly of Ryan's acting chops, and then he's been on an episode too, and I praised him there as well.
I was actually just listening to part of his interview on your podcast. Because I'd started it a while ago and I hadn't finished it, and I was still only halfway. But I got to the part of talking about the audition and brought back memories, the slap, and because I was so nervous because he's like, just slap me, and I said, I barely know you, and I'm supposed to slap you. But he was adamant about that slap.
Oh man, so, he went full. Once he started talking about wanting to audition for Dick Grayson, it's like he went full on Dick Grayson mode, and which wasn't that far from Ryan in the first place, but it's just so. I don't even know if it's method acting at this point because it's just really him.
He just got immersed in it, and
we can't get him out of it.
No, he's trapped. He's trapped in the body of Dick Grayson, in the mindset. But going in there, I was so nervous because the only person I really knew was Timothy, and I was thinking I'm about to slap their friend who they've known for a while. Like I think most of y'all have known for a while, and I was like, I hope this doesn't feel like, oh, she's slapping him right now. Like, I didn't know if it was expected that I would.
I knew it because I knew because Tim didn't know about Ryan going to audition with you and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And so he had no idea, but Ryan had been telling me, and so I knew because I set the the time slots for the auditions and stuff.
Yes.
And so like I just had a spot here, and he was like, "Well, who's coming in here?" And I said, "Oh, it's just gonna be empty in case anyone shows up." And so.
And then I show up, and he's like, "What are you doing here?"
He was like, "Yeah, what are you doing here?" You're like, "Oh, by the way, Ryan's auditioning." So.
So that was a good time.
But enough about Ryan. I think people talk enough about Ryan as it is. Ryan talks enough about Ryan as it is.
That's true.
So, how did you hear about the about Gotham Knights, basically?
Well, it was through Timothy. I had pretty recently joined Fanciful Fairy Tale Parties, which his wife Heather, who's one of my best friends, well, now, not at the time, but she was the manager for Fanciful Fairy Tale Parties, which is a children's entertainment company where we dress up as princesses and go to private birthday parties and public events. And her and Timothy are now the owners of Fanciful, but at the time she was just the manager. And I had joined the company, and I had actually known Timothy in high school because we both did forensics, which is not, cutting up dead bodies. It's competitive acting. And we both did that. We went to different schools, but he was good friends with one of my friends in high school. And so we knew of each other. And then when I came to audition, we reconnected after I joined the company. And he was telling me about, I started to hang out with Heather and Timothy, and he told me about Gotham Knights, and it sounded awesome. And he was like, we're recasting because, there's, a time where we, there's been some time that's passed where we think we need to re-audition people and just to make sure we have the best. And so he's like, if you're wanting to audition for Barbara, then if you want to send a video or we can record a video of you auditioning and I can show it to the rest of the guys. And I was like, well, yeah, I'd love to. I love the comic book world. I grew up with two brothers and I've always loved DC. I love Marvel too, but I feel like my heart is a DC heart. And I loved Barbara Gordon. I remember watching Sub-Zero, that Batman animated movie where Barbara gets kidnapped by Mr. Freeze. And I was like, I love Barbara. I don't know why that movie stuck out to me, she's kidnapped in it, but I don't know, I just always felt drawn to Barbara and Batgirl in general. And so I just recorded the video, and just it took a while to hear back, but Timothy was trying to keep me assured without fully telling me. He's like, the guys, they like you, they think it's good. So I was just trying to not get my hopes up too high, but I felt really good about the audition, and I think part of it was because of the script that Timothy had written. The scene I think I read was between me and Dick, and it was in the manor, and the way he wrote it, I was able to easily find subtext and hidden meaning, and because he pointed that out, he was like, you portrayed things that I didn't write, but thought about when I was writing it. And that's what every actor wants to hear, was that you found the subtext, because you want to play the whole scene. You want to be a three-dimensional character, and if you just read the lines and don't have that hidden meaning or your true goal, then you're like, this isn't entertaining, this isn't interesting for people to watch. So I don't know, it was a great experience, and I'm really happy to have been cast, and I've loved every minute of it. It's made some good friends out of it, and I hope that it doesn't end with part 4. I hope that more stuff can happen with it, because I think it's got a lot of potential.
I know that you want a prequel of that, at least, right?
I would love that because, I mean, it takes place post Batgirl days. But I just really want to put on the suit. And
Oh, a suit.
that's about
Not that we give you a hard time about not having one.
Yeah, y'all always give me a hard time about not having
It's
a suit.
called siblings, Sarah.
I know, but, you know, I've heard that there's talks of a suit being designed. So, from our, you know, resident Batman. So,
From the Dark Knight himself.
yes. So, you know, if that could happen, still, my hopes are not fully squashed about that.
You never know. The door is open. We'll see what happens.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, you mentioned Batman Sub-Zero. I think that was like the first animated Batman show movie. I think it got a theatrical release.
Really?
Yeah, I believe so.
I don't remember that. So, I mean, I don't remember what year it came out, but I was pretty young. Because, I mean, my oldest brother is a huge Batman fan. And my second oldest brother is a Superman fan. So that's why I kind of grew up DC. But, you know, we had Sub-Zero because of Jacob. And we remember watching it. And that was the first time I was introduced to Mr. Freeze. And with his red eyes, and his fishbowl head. So, so long since I've seen that.
It's a good movie. I mean, of course, it's Batman the Animated Series, which is gold.
Yes.
So, I mean, best Batman thing ever. Where a lot of our inspiration for the show has came from Batman the Animated Series. I mean, especially Joker is probably the heaviest.
Mark Hamill's portrayal.
Yeah, and then Timothy's portrayal.
Yeah, I know. You know, Timothy blows me away when he gets into his Joker persona.
Yeah, he's definitely, I mean, my favorite live-action Joker.
Yeah.
And a lot of other people's, because even, like, people that reviewed the part 1 and stuff, they're like, Joker. They just talked about Tim's thing. And I talked with Tanner Smith last week, and because he actually reviewed part 1, and I said this when I was talking to him, that Tim, when we were editing that, editing part 1, he just, like, he's so hard on himself. And he just, and just super hard, and just thinks that it's not good. And then he was just like, let's cut this bit out, let's cut this bit out. He had so many cuts that wanted from that scene, and basically me and Dustin told him, yeah, so I took everything that you said, and I just threw it away, and I just did what I wanted to do on this part, because we did an edit, and then we did another edit and stuff like that, and then we watched them. And I was like, so Tim, basically, we're just not listening to you, and we're just going to tell you to shut up, and everything works in the scene. If you take everything out that you're wanting to take out, we're not going to have the Joker and Harley, their actual relationship. Then we're going to have, like, a Suicide Squad relationship, which is not what we want. And I said, so, and all your jokes are good. Everything works. Shut up. So, and Tanner was like, I can't believe he really thought that. And I said, yeah, dude just thought he wasn't good. You know? I was like, he's like, oh yeah, he's amazing. And I said, yeah, he is.
Where I guess it's really true that you're your own worst critic, and so that doesn't surprise me, because I mean, if I was in the editing room, I probably would have been like, oh, let's cut that. Oh, I don't like that. So you need people to come alongside you and be like, no, like, it's good. Trust us. It is good. You did a great job.
That's why we had like 6 people viewing that and editing it. So
yeah, it's smart. It really, you know, the more people on it, the better feedback you get, I think.
Yeah, part 1 and part 2, more especially to me, they're just amazingly done. And like whenever just the first edits that we saw, which I don't know if you saw or not, just like the huge differences in between them when the final product, and it's just crazy like what we were able to achieve. And I'm super proud of them both. I'm really super proud of part 2. I don't know if it's because the fight scene at the end just pumps me up, but
that is a legit fight scene.
That is a legit fight scene. I'll go back and watch it sometimes and just watch the fight scene. I'm like, this looks so cool.
I love the music. It was simple, but it just got you in the mood for the fight that was about to happen.
Oh yeah.
And I love the shot, I think, where he's following you down the aisle, where
the tracking shot through when
yes.
we're going under the shelving stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
I love that shot, and I think Timothy had shown me that before it was all edited. I think he just showed me on the camera because I was over after a Fansville event, I'm sure. And he's like, "I'm very proud of this shot." And I said, "That looks awesome, like so awesome."
Do you want some behind the scenes insider information if Timothy hasn't given it to you already?
Sure.
So we shot that that fight at my work, and so basically, when it is me and Ryan going through there, that under there, and from a far distance, we found basically it was like a pallet. We've got a pallet and set Timothy on it, and there's like rolly things because it was a warehouse, you know. And it was like rolly things. So we put the pallet thing on top of it and put a board on it. And Tim sat on it. And then David and Dustin just pushed him down while me and Ryan walked through and did our thing. So he's literally just sitting on a pallet being pushed by two guys.
I love all the makeshift equipment. Because I think there was a shot in the last location I was in where it was on the, like, they needed to pull the camera on the ground, so they, like, put a hospital gown on the ground and just, like, pulled it. I mean, I think there's a picture of the makeshift pulley, but it's, you know, we've got a lot of creative people.
We're so frugal in that, in our filmmaking. It was just like, what can we do? And then I found, while we were editing, I found this photo on a Facebook group where someone had set a camera in a shopping cart on and then they had saran wrapped it like 1 billion times around the thing where it wouldn't move at all. And so they basically made their own like little dolly thing that they could push around the shopping cart and on the tripod in the shopping cart. And I was like, guys, we totally have to do this.
We have to try this.
I want to do this so bad.
It's a lot cheaper than buying your own dolly.
Yeah.
Like, for real.
But yeah. Oh man. Let's see here. So, playing Barbara Gordon, which of course you're the only live action Barbara Gordon really right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was there's been talk of a Batgirl movie. At one time, Josh Whedon was set to direct it and write it, and then he stepped away from it last year. You know, there's been rumors of different people. God, there was that awful rumor that Lindsay Lohan wanted to be Batgirl. God, remember how I was like, Sarah, and you were like, no.
You tagged me in that, and I said, there's no way that is happening.
I would just quit. I'd be like, I'm done, Warner. I'm done, DC. You're done. You're done.
You made another terrible decision. Like, no. Good job.
That'd be the worst. Sometimes they make terrible decisions, and I still stick with them because I'm a DC guy. Like, you're a DC girl.
Yes.
But like, if they cast Lindsay Lohan as Batgirl, I'd be done. Like, I couldn't do it. Like, anyone else is fine, just not Lindsay Lohan.
No, I couldn't either.
Yeah.
It would make no sense at all.
If so I say that though, if you were casting that, and you're busy, you're too busy to play Batgirl, okay? So you're just in charge of casting here, okay?
Okay.
So who would you pick to play Batgirl?
Oh, see, I've thought about it a lot, and it's really I almost feel protective of that role. So it also depends on where in Barbara's life they would be telling the story. If it would be she's a little older, or she's a teenager, like just starting out as Batgirl, or she's well into her career as Batgirl. So I mean, it really depends on that. But I just, oh gosh, I feel like I had someone in mind, but I can't think of who it is.
Because we'd also have to go for if we're going to Hollywood casting. I guess it should be a redhead.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have red hair, But
Yeah,
some of
I mean,
this,
I do
actually,
have,
though, in that outside scene, I swear it looked like you had red hair. And I was like,
yes,
is her hair red? Did she dye
yes,
her
in the
hair?
sun.
I
Well,
was
see,
there. It wasn't
in
red.
this, yeah, well, I kind of have an auburn tint to my hair, so I'm partially redhead. I like to say.
We're gonna go with that. It's all good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Barbara Gordon, so I got some red hair a little bit, not as red as it is in the comics, but I mean,
You can pull it up on video that you're Barbara Gordon. So can anyone else say that?
exactly.
I'll wait.
So, but okay, so going, do you think? Oh gosh, I'm trying to think if
I can't think of any like if we're doing teenage Barbara Gordon. Like I can't think of anyone like, and I wouldn't know names definitely.
yeah.
So I don't know. So I feel like maybe an older Barbara, a little older, seasoned.
Yeah, like maybe late 20s or something.
Yeah, because I feel like if you're going to do a Barbara Gordon movie, like what should it be about and stuff. So
Yeah, I wish I could remember. I mean, or who could, because Barbara doesn't have powers, so I mean she has fighting skills and is very strong and agile. So I would want someone who isn't typical Hollywood. I mean, I almost would want a no name.
probably like I couldn't even think of somebody like who I'd really want.
Yeah.
To be. Because it'd have to be no name for like a good role. And
yes.
If we're being like thinking about it, like I feel like she should be introduced. Say like they're making the Batman movie with Matt Reeves. Like I feel like Barbara should be introduced there.
Yes.
And then she get her own movie.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like she doesn't have to be in like a couple of scenes, but just to know that she's in the universe and she's been Batgirl, because like I don't know of a Batgirl movie. I mean, what storyline would you need? Would it be like our storyline?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that would probably be what your movie should mostly be about, maybe, or at least the ending, or I don't know.
I know it is hard to kind of pick like what storyline, or if they would create just a new one, and which they probably would need to. But I mean, I would prefer a no name, because I think, just where we are today, people would want to see a female-led superhero movie, especially Batgirl. I mean, Wonder Woman did so well, and I mean, oh my gosh, Gal Gadot wasn't super well known. I mean, she was introduced in Justice League, but
I think she had only done what like a James Bond movie or something like that.
I think she was in Date Night with Steve Carell and Tina Fey.
Yeah, she might have been that.
For like one scene, she was like with Mark Wahlberg's character or something. But I mean, hadn't done very much at all. I think she won Miss Israel because she's Israeli.
Right. Yeah.
And was in the armed forces too. Or I can't remember what it's called, but kind of the equivalent of the Israel army.
Oh man, I like it was on the. I thought about it and then I was like, nope, I don't remember now.
I know. I wish I could remember what exactly it's called. I want to say armed forces, but I mean, she's awesome, and she wasn't super well known, but Wonder Woman still did really well, and people went to go see it. So I think DC should stick with that, where they don't need a big name actress to play Barbara Gordon, because Batgirl and Barbara Gordon will bring people to the theaters without the actress behind it. And if you have Batman make a cameo, or Dick Grayson make a cameo, or whatever, I mean, I feel like Dick Grayson would need to be in it a little bit at least.
Oh yeah, probably for sure. Maybe flashbacks.
Oh yeah. But I think the draw will be Batgirl, and so kind of trust the people to come see it without having to put someone there for their name.
True.
So I'm gonna say No Name. That's my final call. It's No Name.
That's good. She was the Israel thing is IDF.
Okay, idea.
And actually, she was in Fast and Furious, the fourth Fast and Furious movie, and then Fast 5, and then the sixth one, and Fast 7. Like, so, I said, like, James Bond. I knew it was something like that, but it was the Fast and Furious franchise is where she started. But she was in Date Night 2.
Yes.
As well. So.
Yes. I remember that. See, I think I've seen Fast 5, and that's the only Fast and Furious movie. I'm not really watched a car movie.
The first one and the second one, and I've never seen any of the rest of them.
Yeah, I don't really care to see. Cars don't interest me, so a movie all about cars. I mean, Cars is my least favorite Pixar movie. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's the worst one in my opinion. It interests me. I don't know why they keep making more, but
they made 3 of those.
3 Cars movies.
Yeah, 3 Cars movies.
Yes, and then a Planes movie.
That's right, because Dane Cook was the voice of the plane.
Oh, that's so weird. That's a franchise I never was into.
Yeah, I'm not much of a car person either, so that's why I've only seen those first 2 Fast and Furious movies, which is weird that I haven't seen any of the newer ones because they had The Rock in them, and I love The Rock.
Yeah, I do love The Rock. I love that he's in Moana, and he did a really great job rapping and singing.
Oh yeah,
in this movie.
Yeah. But since you spoke about princesses, and I'm gonna segue your Moana to talk about Disney princesses now.
Yes.
Or can I say I can't really say Disney
princess? You can say it.
I could say it, but you can't advertise it.
Not in writing. It's more writing.
Right.
Copyright.
You talked about Fanciful earlier.
Yes.
And so I gave a little brief of what that is and everything, and so of what you would do with that. And so basically my question is, what's it like being Princess Barbara?
Being Princess Barbara?
That's your new name, Princess Babs.
Princess Babs. It's pretty awesome. Getting to be several different princesses. Because, if I worked at Disney World, I don't know all the rules, but I think really you only play one character unless you are like Mickey Mouse, or you're in you're completely covered. You can place like Chip and Dale, Mickey, Minnie, Sadness, Joy. But if you're a face character, then you really can only play that one character. And with Fanciful, I can be, pretty much all the white ones. I think the only white one I had a white, and but it's a lot of fun. It's a great job, and it's so cool that I get paid to be a princess and make kids happy, like make their dreams come true. Yeah, it's, to answer your question, it's amazing to be a princess.
Oh man, but yeah, I actually thought about the Princess Babs thing beforehand, and I was like, I have to find a way to drop this in here. Okay. That I come up with this new nickname for Sarah.
How long have you been holding on to that?
About a month.
Wow. Okay.
I'm just gonna start using that now. Whenever we talk about anyone I see you or anything like that, I'm gonna be like, "What's up, Princess Babs?"
Well, I'm okay with that.
Because it takes the 2 things that I know you from the most and just puts them together.
I approve. I'm okay with being called Princess Babs.
Did you want to say Princess Bride?
I said Brabs, and then I corrected myself and said Princess Babs.
I was like, that's a good movie.
That is a wonderful movie. It's probably my top 10. Bowage.
But I think but Fanciful, what you said, is dressing up as princesses basically, and what you do, like birthday parties, and y'all have like events and stuff that y'all do, like tea parties.
Yeah. And we've also just recently added in some Star Wars characters.
Yes, I saw the picture.
Yes, we've added Kylo Ren and Rey, which, we're marketing them as Scavenger and Imperial Knight. but there's only a few of us who can portray Rey because she is, like, with Disney princesses, since they're cartoons, it's several different girls can play each princess, but because Rey was portrayed live action, we needed people who looked similar to Daisy Ridley, who plays Rey, and we had to have someone who could do the British dialect and use the Force and kind of portray her mannerisms. So, we had auditions for that, and I've been told I look like Daisy Ridley since The Force Awakens came out. So I know that Heather and Timothy are like, well, Sarah, you look just like her. And but I'm really excited. We did the photo shoot to get the promo pics for those characters, and it was super cold that day. I think it was like 40, and it was windy. And we took the pictures at the castle and Stagecoach, and Timothy's friend Taylor was the Imperial Knight for it, and Timothy was taking the pictures, and he was like all covered up in his, the black costume, the mask, and Rey's costume's pretty light, like had no, sleeves, had my lower legs uncovered, and it was so cold. I'm surprised I didn't look blue in the pictures. But I mean, we got some great photos. If it was worth it, I would have been more upset. I would have been upset if we didn't get good pictures from it, but we did, and so it was worth it. And it's really awesome that we're branching out and just opening up our services to more people, because, I mean, we didn't have a lot of stuff for boys' parties. And we also added Spider-Man.
Yeah, I saw that.
So, we want to branch out. Fansville is just growing, and I'm looking forward to more growth and see where it takes off.
Yeah, when I saw the pictures, and because I had known that Tim had sent videos to us of like Kylo Ren and BB-8, and so I was like, I didn't know that y'all are doing Rey as well, but I don't know why I didn't even think about it, because it makes perfect sense. And then when I saw pictures of you as Rey, and when I saw the pictures, aside from it making sense of y'all doing Rey, then I was like, well, it totally makes sense Sarah being Rey. I never thought about this, but oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Like, it never even crossed my mind. Like you said, people have told you this, but I've never even thought about it. So
yeah. And what's even better is, we have a wig for Rey, but we tried styling my own hair into the 3 buns on her head, and Heather did it, and it looked legit, like it looked real, and so I don't have to put my hair in a wig for the parties or events, which I'm really thankful for. And the hairdo didn't take long to do, and just like the 3 other girls who portray Rey don't have, like, one's blonde, one has like really curly hair, but I have like almost the exact same hair as Daisy Ridley, so I'm able to just, Heather will style it before parties, and so I can go wigless and just use my natural hair for it, which is,
yeah, it's just so awesome that you get to do all this stuff that you love, basically, and portray like all these characters and stuff of people that you love. So I mean, that's just so awesome.
Because I grew up on Disney, and Jasmine was my favorite growing up, but I can't play Jasmine because we don't do that. And we have some awesome girls who can portray Jasmine and Moana, and but my favorite has become Anna and Rapunzel, because they're just so similar to my personality. I remember watching Frozen and thinking that Disney followed me around to take notes about my personality, because when I saw Anna on screen, I thought, that's me in cartoon form. So whenever I do an Anna event or party, I just kind of I'm myself, but just to level up of energy. So, and then Rapunzel is really similar. They're both just very spunky and love life and want to see more of it, and so I just relate to them, and I think, I don't know, they're great characters and written really well, and I'm super excited for Frozen 2.
Yeah, I was about to say, most of the pictures I've seen you in are Anna, and so that's like whenever I think about Fanciful, I think of you as Anna, and so I was gonna say, so speaking of that, I'm guessing the trailer you enjoyed.
Oh,
Frozen 2.
yeah. I remember watching it, and I did not expect what I watched was not what I expected. It just seemed it was very intense and epic looking. It looked epic and very different from the trailer for the first movie.
Yeah.
And it just seems not darker, but like there's more at stake almost in the trailer.
Basically like expanding the world way more, it looks like it's going to.
Oh, yeah.
And just like, because it was very secluded story, what most movies are, Disney princesses. It's just in this little spot right here happening. And it just opens Frozen 2, which I believe is the first theatrical release for a princess sequel by Disney. Yeah. Like I mentioned that whenever on the show, when the trailer came out, that none of the Disney princess movies that have sequels like Cinderella 2 and stuff like that, none of those ever got theatrical releases, and they were made by a different animation studio, a division animation studio from Disney. That's their TV animation studio. They're the ones that did the animation on the sequels for the other princess sequels.
Wow.
That were straight home releases.
I've never thought about that.
Yeah, so
they're
Frozen, but so it's just opening up a whole different world, and just the thing. And I have looking at the trailer, there's a lot of theories that you can draw on conclusions from that trailer. Like in my head when I was watching it, for one I was like, who's this girl? Who's this other girl?
There was this girl and this guy.
Yeah, and a guy.
And I'm like, the guy looks like he could be Kristoff's son. And, I'm wondering, I was talking to Matthew Burnett about this. You're friends with him, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm doing a show at Preclara with him, and I've done several shows with him, and he's also works for Fanciful as Kristoff and Imperial Knight and everything. But we were talking about this, and he said, I wonder if there's going to be kind of like airbenders, or, there's the different elements.
That's what I was thinking.
Like, wondering if someone's controlling the wind, because there was that part where, the leaves were, spinning him into the air, and then there was a ring of fire around Elsa. Elsa obviously has ice, but what I really want is Anna to have fire power, or some kind of power, because, everybody was drawn to Elsa in Frozen, but I was drawn to Anna, and really she's the protagonist, because she's what propels the story forward, because if she didn't go to bring Elsa back, nothing would have changed. So she, drives the story, and she saves her sister's life along with saving her own at the end. And
I personally think that Frozen is basically about Anna. I mean, she's the main character. I mean, Elsa's like a side character.
Yes.
So.
Which, I think it'll probably explore Elsa a little bit more in Frozen 2. I mean, it starts with her on this island trying to hone her powers, and which maybe she's just trying to escape this island that she's on, but she's acting like Frozone, throwing the ice to, freeze the water, and I'm like, this looks so cool. She's got a pantsuit on, and so I know Fanciful is going to look into getting that costume, so...
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, Elsa's now a superhero.
Yes, that's what it looks like. And then, Anna taking out Kristoff's sword and swinging at whoever's coming up behind them. I'm like, this is intense. And I feel like I've seen a lot of comments from people who are sick of Frozen that are excited about the sequel because of the trailer. Because I wonder if the makers at Disney were thinking, okay, we know people are sick of Frozen, so we're going to make the sequel really cool, like where everybody will enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they had that.
I mean, I really enjoyed it, and I never thought, whenever, when I do my news and stuff on the episode, I didn't think that I was going to talk so much about it. But I talked about it for a few minutes on the show.
Wow.
I went into it and how I thought that I mentioned the wind and the ring of fire, and I was like, I think there's going to be there's seasonals. I think there'll be like 4 people total, and so like Elsa, represents winter. And there's somebody that the fire would be representing by summer, the winter, autumn, and then there'll be somebody that has something to do with spring.
Yeah.
And so if Anna was going to develop powers, I imagine it'd be the spring, because that would be the one they haven't shown.
True.
And because I feel like it'll be something that makes sense for Anna.
Yeah, that fits her personality.
Yeah, like that fits her personality. That's something it makes sense. So, but we'll see. I'm pretty excited about it. I never thought I was going to be excited about Frozen 2 because Frozen's everywhere, and sometimes it's a little. Please stop with the Frozen.
I know Elsa is our most requested princess at Fanciful. Still, and the movie came out in 2013, in November 2013, and she's still our most requested character. And
whenever they redid at Disney World at Epcot, and they redid the Norway ride and made it Frozen. The day that it opened, there was like 8-hour long wait.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, whenever it first opened, like that whole entire summer that ride opened, the wait time was like 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours every day.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I would not wait in line that long for a ride.
No.
That's your entire day.
But I mean, some people really like Frozen, though. So.
Yeah, I love Frozen, but I also am not crazy and will want to enjoy the rest of the park instead of waiting in line all day. That is insane.
That's why you just go the next year.
Yeah, when the hype has died down a little bit.
I can just imagine when Star Wars lands open.
Oh.
Nuts.
That'll be jam-packed.
Yeah.
So many words.
Yeah, but so real quick though, you mentioned the thing you're doing with Matthew.
Yes.
Play thing. You want to tell me a little bit about that?
It's with Craig Clara at Wildwood Park for Performing Arts. They started more as a vocal company and then progressed into doing more theatrical shows. And we're in rehearsals right now for HMS Pinafore, which is a comedic opera that takes place on a ship. That's probably why it's called HMS Pinafore, Her Royal Majesty, Her Majesty, oh my goodness, HMS, Her Majesty's ship, I think, Pinafore. And I'm in the ensemble for that. I'm a sister, cousin, aunt. And we follow the Sir Joseph everywhere he goes. Like, we're his sisters, cousins, and aunts. And he, takes them with him wherever he goes because he's, so conceited. He needs to be surrounded by adoration by his family. And, but we started rehearsals for that a few weeks ago. And that opens April, I think the weekend of April 6th, I think is the, let me look. April 12th and 13th. But we're doing that. Matthew is a sailor in that. And it's going to be set in the 40s. So that's going to be the style, the costumes, hair. And it should be a lot of fun. I've never done an opera before, so this is a first for me. I mostly do musical theater, but opera is a new ballpark. But this is my second show with Craig Clara. I did Susical with them last October, and I was thing one for that.
Right.
And that was more of a mute role because the things don't really talk much, and it was a lot of movement, a lot of dancing. We were on stage with the cat a lot. We moved things on and off stage, and that was a lot of fun. I got a lot of exercise doing that show because I was running all around backstage, on stage, through the crowd, and but that's my second show. I'm working on currently with them, and then I've done some shows with Murray's Dinner Playhouse, and hoping to get back there soon because I think the last time I did a show at Murray's was last February. But I'd like to get back there. They think they've got a good season this year. They're doing Sister Act and Mary Poppins, Annie.
Man, a lot of good stuff.
Oh yeah, and doing some like a murder mystery in October. They usually always do a murder mystery in October, and so I'll get back there soon because I love film and theater equally. So I'd love to be able to do both.
Right. Now, I guess you can understand why me and Sarah are friends and haven't seen each other for a while.
Yes, it's really busy. Very busy lives.
I mean, we spent 50 minutes talking about all the different stuff you do, so, I mean, people don't understand why it's hard for us to get together.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, hopefully, the next time. Which, I'd like to be behind the scenes. My character is wrapped. Barbara's wrapped, but, I know with the hideout scene, I was able to film a little bit, and so I'm hoping to be able to help out in some capacity for other scenes that we're shooting.
Oh yeah, whenever we shoot the bulk of the 4th episode, which is all like one location mostly, except for your stuff, which we've already shot.
Yes.
But the bulk of the 4th episode at the one location, we will definitely need help there.
Oh yeah, well I will be there for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody should be. If you're listening to this podcast, you're probably going to end up being there because I'm going to be like, we need a lot of people at this thing. So
we need all hands on deck.
All hands on deck. Extra hands, feet, everything. Everybody there. So.
Yeah, if you have any extra arms, they're be appreciated.
The epic conclusion to the Gotham Knights.
Yes. Man. So exciting.
Awesome. Well, hey, does that thing with Wildwood have an event page on Facebook?
I think if you go to Wildwood Park for Performing Arts, or Wildwood Park
I'm sure they do.
Yeah, there's a Facebook page for it where you can get to their website online. It's Wildwood Park for the Arts.
Okay, yeah. We're gonna. I'll end up sharing all that stuff. So.
Yeah, sure.
Fanciful and stuff like that.
Yeah, Fanciful. Fanciful has a Facebook page and a website, just fanciful.com with a Y.
Yeah. I've never shared any of the Gotham Knight stuff on the Good Stuff podcast page because I talk about it enough on episodes that there's no need to share it.
It's like they know.
It's like if you don't know about it and you don't have following on Facebook, I don't even know what you're doing with life right now listening to my podcast.
Yeah. So. Just go away. Get out of here.
Right, go on, hit the bricks.
Hit the road, Jack.
Yeah, that's a classic one. Good job, Sarah.
Yeah, I won't start singing it, but...
Appreciate that. I got enough going on health-wise. I don't need my ears messed up from your singing, so...
Oh, okay.
Thanks.
Real nice.
Hey, I had to get a brother jab in there.
I know.
It's been a long time since I've poked fun at you, so... It
has been a while. I know you have to get your 2 cents in of...
I missed it so much.
I know. It's okay. I'm used to it. I'm a target for a lot of people.
It happens. Easy
I'm
target.
too nice.
This is true. Well, I'm going to wrap this up here because we've been talking almost 50 minutes. A little over 52 minutes now.
Wow.
Yeah, so but yeah, I will share all that stuff, and I want to thank you for coming. Or thank you for talking to me, not coming on the show, because obviously we're not in person, but whatever.
Yes, I'm sitting on my couch right now.
Me too.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited that you've got your podcast off the ground, and looking forward to hearing more.
Yeah, thanks. We're about to hit double digits here, so...
Sweet.
Yeah, so I'm so excited. But anyways, thanks for coming.
Okay, no problem.
All right. Well, I want to thank Sarah once again for taking time out of her day to come and talk to me. I want to thank you all for liking the Good Stuff podcast and listening to us. Make sure you leave us a review on iTunes or even our Facebook page and let us know what you think about the show, what you like to change, maybe add some new things, take away some things, whatever you like. I want it to be our podcast, guys, just not my podcast, ours. Together, we'll make the Good Stuff Podcast. And great. That sounded weird. I don't know why I was going with a weird voice like that. Something different. Whatever, though. Thank you so much for helping me get to 10 episodes, because I want to get to 10 episodes if it wasn't for you. Make sure you like Blind Bandit Productions Facebook page as well. And because we got some exciting stuff in the future coming from Blind Bandit Productions, make sure you find us on all of your podcast stuff, like Podbean, Stitcher, Google Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes. Listen to my friends, Characters on the Couch, and also Southern Fried Geekery, and hashtag good stuff today. Thanks, everybody.